good morning, everybody. Welcome. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Bruce, I'm guessing when you woke up this morning, you looked outside and there wasn't any sun in the sky, completely overcast and a little dark, a little damp, and you're thinking, I love this break.
Yeah, it was really nice last night. I got my walking because, I'm an old man, Eric. So I got to get my steps, right? I mean, and I actually have a device on my wrist, my Fitbit, that tells me how many steps I'm taking. These are very important things for those of us in an advanced generation. So it was stupendous last night getting a little walk in. It was great.
Stupendous. That's a really big word even for you.
Yes. I can't spell it, but I can say it. And I think I'm 65% sure what it means. So there we go.
Hey, real quick, want to let you know the best way to buy what you want at the price you want is a roller auction, leader in Colorado auctions. In over 45 years on Wednesday, July 23rd. Yes, this upcoming Wednesday, Planet Open Box is having a factory return auction featuring new open box, overstock, scratch and dent, and refurbished merchandise featuring electronics, furniture, exercise equipment, and more. Online bidding is started at rollerauction.com. And don't forget to go to rollerauction.com also to learn about upcoming auctions. Get what you want at the price you want today at Roller Auction. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Smokin' Dave's Barbecue. It is not just the best barbecue in town, it is one of the best restaurants in town. You can find Smokin' Dave's Barbecue off 36th and Pecos.
I thought we had the entire show totally put together until Von Miller had the nerve to be a guy who reportedly is going to sign with the Washington Commanders. With that, he's played a long time. He's certainly going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's going to be in the Broncos Ring of Fame. He's chasing a championship like most older players do. He's already won 2. How effective do you think he will be with Washington?
Well, he had 6 sacks last year in limited time in Buffalo, so he can still get to the quarterback. How often he can get to the quarterback, of course, is the big question in Washington. I'm sure he'll be used in not a primary package, but he's going to get opportunities to affect the game. And Von Miller can still affect the game. I mean, so how much he affects the game remains to be seen, but it's an intriguing matchup, right? The Commanders and Von. We like Von more than that. We probably love Von.
Right.
So I pay attention to where Von is. I pay attention to what he's doing. What he means to the Denver Broncos, to this city and state, and to the history of this franchise can never be undersold. He's a guy. He's a frontline guy. He's one of the faces in the history of the franchise. So I cheer for him from afar. I really do, and I'll be doing the same thing in Washington this year. So more power to him.
All right, let's dive into something that we talked about last week, but now this has changed a little bit. Last week, NFL.com's Gennaro Filice ranked the Broncos offense as the 6th best offense in the NFL heading into this upcoming season. Well, earlier this week, he decided to flip it around. Instead of ranking the top 10 offenses, he ranked the top 10 defenses. He has the Broncos at number 1. Broncos had the 3rd lowest scoring defense last season. They have 14 of 15 players returning who led the team in terms of defensive snaps. They've just added Greenlaw, Hufanga, Barron. Barring injury, is there any reason to believe that this defense will not only be better, but potentially considerably better?
I think they can be potentially, and let's underscore that word, potentially better. Remember, this is all on paper and it's very one-dimensional. Injuries you've already talked about haven't been taken into account. Which way the wind's blowing on game day. I mean, all of these things make the element of the fluidity of the whole thing very real. They got to be better against the run. I mean, period. Yes. If they can be considerably better and can be considerably better against the run, which I think they are designed to be.
Yeah.
I think when you have Greenlaw and Singleton back, hopefully playing, knock on wood here, without any injuries and delays, you've certainly fortified your run defense on the back end with Hufanga, but you don't want him making a lot of tackles, if you know what I mean. But he and Jones are both very active players that can sneak up and help in the box. And I think that I think that they have some players inside that can improve as well. If they make a specific improvement in that area against the run, this is a defense that has a chance to be one of the top 1, top 2, top 3 defenses in the National Football League. No question about it.
You and I have this conversation all the time that sometimes stats don't tell the whole story. The best example is you look at a team, they're the number 1 ranked offense in the league. Why? It's based on yards. It's not based on points.
Right.
Okay. So with that, where do you think the Broncos rushing defense ranked last year in the NFL?
I think they were some 13, 14, 16, maybe something like that.
Better. Keep going lower.
18, 20.
No. Better than 13. So go the other direction.
11.
Keep going.
9.
Keep going.
7.
Keep going.
5.
Keep going.
3.
Yes. They were the 3rd ranked rushing defense last year statistically. They were only behind the Ravens at 80 yards a game, the Vikings at 93 yards a game, and the Broncos gave up 96 rushing yards per game last year. That's it. They were the 3rd best team. So why don't we believe that after watching the games last year?
Well, because you have one-offs, and it's how those yards are gained and in what, and are they gained in bunches, or do you have a game like in New York against the Jets where nobody could do anything offensively in a torrential downpour? Games like that skew numbers. If they could stop the run, who do we open against? Who do we open against last year? Seattle? Was it Seattle?
That was a couple of years ago, I think.
Was it?
Even so, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Point is, when you look at their totals, they were one of the best in the league. And it's interesting because Filice, when he wrote his article, he said, boy, you look at their sack totals. They had 5 or 6 guys who had 5 or more sacks, right? Then you have Surtain. You just added Barron. You have 14 of 15 guys coming back who led the team in snaps. And they were 3rd in the league in rushing defense. Holy cow.
Yeah.
So my point is, I cannot imagine that this guy watched every single Broncos game last year. So he looked at a stat sheet and said, wow, they were 3rd in rushing defense.
Yeah.
Did they really feel like a team that was 3rd in rushing defense?
No. And 96 yards a game sounds really good. But like I said, it depends on how you accumulate that. Yeah. Because you can have a 14-yard game where you're only giving up 14, 18, 20 yards of rushing against a team that loves to throw the ball or whatever the case may be. But then you've got a 212-yard game.
Right.
And I don't have the numbers in front of me, but you know, I was virtually every single game. There are games that I can remember that they just did not do a great job stopping the run. This was a great team against the pass generally because of their ability to pressure the quarterback and their ability to cover. But Vance Joseph would tell you and has told us the one area that they have to get better at, have to be appreciably better at, is stopping the run. So I think
Well,
that's the focus.
to your point, yes, they opened up against Seattle last year.
Yeah.
They gave up
And if you stop them on the ground early in the second half, you have a chance to win that game. I mean, you really do. And that was Bo Nix's debut, for goodness sakes. I mean, he wasn't playing anywhere like he was 4 weeks later.
Broncos gave up 146 rushing yards in that game.
Yeah.
But it was Bo Nix's debut as well.
Yeah.
And Bo Nix, listen, he wasn't great in his first 3-4 games. Is that fair to say?
Oh, no, he wasn't great. He was only sometimes good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was halting a lot of it, and understandably. I mean, right? He did score on that last drive. He had some really good runs in that last drive. I think he was, don't quote me, but I think he was the leading rusher in that game for the Broncos. So there were some things that he did well, but nothing like 3-4 weeks later. Down in Tampa Bay is where he really started to turn things. And then, of course, the one-off in New York with the monsoon, where nobody looked particularly good, although he did make the one pass to Cortland Sutton at the key time in the game. But then after that, man, I mean, the guy started to percolate a little bit. So, yeah.
I think there are differences, especially when it comes to playoff time. When you look at the matchup and say, okay, this is the number 3 offense against the number 4 defense, right?
Yeah.
And, they have the best defense in the league because look at their statistics. To me, there's a difference between a team that leads the league in defense, whether it's points and or yards, and a historic defense. And to have an historic defense, you need dogs, you need attitude to take you to that next level. When you look at the Broncos defense in 2015, I know people are going to disagree with me. Do I think it's one of the top 3 defenses of all time? No, I don't even think it's 4. It may not even be top 5. And I understand I'm saying this in a Denver market with a Denver audience. Legion of Boom, better. Ravens, better. Tampa Bay, better. Bears, better. And then just pick your favorite Steelers team. But right in the 70s.
But timing is everything, right?
It is. And those defenses did dominate. And the Broncos defense was excellent in 2015. And the argument for that Broncos defense was, look at the quarterbacks they played. They beat Brady, they beat Roethlisberger, and then they beat the league MVP Cam Newton. I'm with you on all of that. And certainly with the way the Super Bowl started, for the Broncos against the Panthers, it was nothing more than breathtaking. Like, wow, they're going to win this because of a great defense. But they had dogs on that defense, starting with, in no particular order, Talib, Harris, Vaughn, dogs I'm talking about. DeMarcus Ware, Malik Jackson, Derek. It was like littered with dogs.
Right.
So to be historic, I think you need dogs. I do. You need guys with a special type of attitude where within the rules, without getting flagged, they want to literally tear you apart limb from limb. And that's what the Ravens were like with Ray Lewis, right? That's what Tampa was like with Brooks and Sapp. And I can go on and on, the Legion of Boom defense. How many dogs does this defense have? They have really good players, certainly in certain positions. But who is that, game's on the line. Not only am I going to get you, you're going to watch me get you.
I think they're more silent assassins than they are dogs with a Z. Maybe they're dogs with an S.
It's I don't mean to correct you, old man. It's dogs with a W.
Oh, it's
DAWGS.
DAWGS or DAWGZ.
Who said, Alex, come in here, please. Alex,
I thought the first iteration of dogs was DOGZ.
No.
Alex,
is there a DAWGS or is there a DAWGZ, I guess?
I think S or Z works as long as you spell it DAWG. You can't just spell it like a regular
Okay.
DOG.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
I stand corrected.
Well, listen, when it comes to things like that, those are the only things I truly care being right about. How to spell things. Thank you, Alex.
Yes.
How many dogs do the Broncos have currently?
I don't
To
think
make
I would,
it special.
I don't think I would want to compare it dog to dog with the defense in 2015, but I will say this. I think that they have a lot of dogs.
I do too.
I just think that they are. I mean, Zach Allen's a dog, but he's not demonstrable, right?
Like Derek Wolfe.
Right. He's a different. He's as effective, and he could maybe even be a better version of that position.
Right.
But he's not demonstrative. Riley Moss is a dog to me. He's a dog, but he's a soft pedaling dog. I mean, he lets his, you know what I'm saying? He lets his play speak.
He talks to you on the field.
He does. But is anyone going to argue that Pat Surtain isn't a dog? But look at the way that Pat he's an understated presence. So, and I think that the list goes on. I think that Singleton's a dog. I mean, I really do. I mean, I think that he plays with great passion.
Yeah.
He plays with great purpose. He arrives at the point of contact with harmful intent, but he's not a guy that's going to be in the middle of a scuffle or a knockdown drag out.
Right.
I admire greatly those guys from 2015 and was glad to arrive at a time when they were still around because they were marvelous characters and great football players.
Everybody in that secondary.
Oh my God.
They were all
amazing.
dogs.
They were, yeah. They were attack dogs. You know, they were the highest level of dogs, those guys.
I think my point is they had a few last year. I would agree with Zach Allen for sure. And anybody who I'm not mentioning, I hope they're not insulted. I'm just saying from the eye test. I don't know if I'd make Benito a dog. I would say Surtain is a dog, but he's a mastiff. One that just kind of hangs out and sits there, doesn't bark a lot. He knows he's the biggest dog in the room.
Yeah,
he doesn't need to say anything.
He doesn't have to bark to keep people off his lot.
That's right. Riley Moss, I would absolutely agree, is one of those guys. But now that they've added Greenlaw and Hufanga, who are
both
type A dogs, who are alpha male dogs, now you've just added two into that room from a team that in the 49ers that always had championship aspirations.
Right.
I guess my question is, do you think that the attitude of Greenlaw and Hufanga with the way they play can rub off and make somebody a dog? Or do you just have it or you don't?
I think it can help, but I do think that you have it or you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that we're going to see guys jumping around and being different because of the way that they have played and the way that they played is who they are. But I will say this. I think that you can infuse a defense, and two guys can do it.
Yeah.
Especially two guys in the middle. I mean, I'm a baseball guy, right? Your strength is up the middle. Well, it doesn't get any more middle than inside linebacker and safety, right? So, I mean, nose guard, obviously. But, yeah, I think that those two guys can be difference makers. I think that that's why that they were brought in. They're both really good football players. We have to see it more with Greenlaw. And, of course, Hufanga's got to stay healthy. But all of this stuff on paper looks absolutely great. It's all very one-dimensional. There's no dimension beyond just what it looks upon in black and white on a sheet of paper. Want to see how this whole thing all starts to work, because Eric, I think it'll be really interesting when we're out there this summer, heck, starting next week, to watch the effect that these guys have on this defense.
Right.
I would expect this defense to play with an incredible amount of attitude right from jump. I expect them to be competitive with an offense that probably has a similar kind of attitude as well. I think both units right now are ascending, and I think it's the competition that breeds in a practice situation, I think can only do good things for a football team, and I'm betting that it'll be good for the Denver Broncos.
Coming up after the break, a former NBA player said this about LeBron James. Playing with LeBron sucks. And boy, that was one hell of a headline. So I'm thinking, I gotta read up on this, right? Well, after reading the article, I realized playing with LeBron James doesn't suck. Maybe playing with the guy who said it sucks. That's next. Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. Don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corn bake. Man, you got to try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Ferguson's Heating and Cooling is the best in Denver, and their customers agree. Ferguson's has 165 5-star Google reviews, and here's one from Betsy. Highly professional, prompt, and honest. I switched to Ferguson's when I became aware my former company was trying to sell me a whole new system I didn't need. Ferguson's is an honest, working, family-owned business that'll give you a fair price, the highest quality parts and equipment, and they always show up on time. You can trust the Ferguson family like you trust your own family. Go to fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Spice up your next night out at Nola, Jane, and Lodo. Authentic Cajun cuisine like andouille sausage gumbo with dirty rice, crawfish etouffee, as well as 6 different po' boys like soft-shell crab and shrimp. Come in before or after a game at Ball Arena. Host a party or party on their rooftop deck overlooking Market Street during happy hour from 11 a.m. to 5. Plus, Nola Jane caters, delivers, and the kitchen is open late night. Make Nola Jane your new favorite spot to eat, drink, and party like it's Mardi Gras.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch in the DTC. Both locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook is a hangout bar or great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, the DTC, and coming soon to Parker. They are the sports bar.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a new Sea-Doo, 4-wheeler, or the cash award from the Big Wheel Spin, plus $7,500 in cash. The grand prize drawing is the weekend of August 16th, and get finalist entries every 45 minutes from 10 a.m. to midnight during their daily cash drawing, with a locked-up jackpot of $100 or more. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos. Loose slots, great promotions, great food, and a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
And welcome back. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Before we do what's trending, want to tell you about Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. I've said it many times. I love great barbecue. I've been to a lot of different places in town. But honestly, I don't think anyone can even touch what Smoking Dave's does. Every place has brisket and pulled pork, and I get all that stuff. But what Dave has done is, because of his past experience, he has taken all of his culinary expertise and put it on one menu where the combinations are just so good. It's more than just the typical stuff that you would see. You know, how often do you go to a barbecue place and you see a meatloaf on there, and then it's made with chorizo and porter beer, and then there's a mushroom balsamic glaze that goes on top, and the sides are amazing, and all the desserts are homemade. I would highly recommend you go check it out. I know you have your favorite barbecue spot. Go check out mine, and then let me know what you think. It doesn't mean your place isn't good. It just means, in my opinion, Smoking Dave's is better. You can find them off of 36th and Pecos. Time now for What's Trending.
What's trending on Hot Takes with Goodman and Haertl? Brought to you by Mile High Sports.
Richard Jefferson, longtime NBA veteran, now an analyst on ESPN, also a former Nugget, said on a recent podcast, playing with LeBron James sucks because you're trying to win a championship, and he's one of the most competitive human beings in the history of American sports. It sucks when you're showing up and he's already been practicing for 4 hours and you're like, oh, shit. When you're watching a film and you mess up a play, he's like, MF, what are you doing? You're trying to make it to the top of the hill, and this MFer is trying to go to Mars. So, does it suck to play with LeBron James, or does it suck to play with Jefferson?
Well, I would have loved to have heard the tone and how he said it. My guess is that he was probably poking some fun at himself, but making a point about the competitiveness of LeBron James. And you and I have talked about this over the years. There are just certain guys, and we could probably count them on one or two hands, that just have that gene more than others. Jordan, LeBron, Peyton Manning, it's not a long list.
No.
But guys that are just so uber competitive that they live in a different place of preparation and understanding and expectations and drive to realize them than others. Others that are otherwise type AAA personalities, guys that are themselves trying to be the best that they can be. But that's just a different level of push and expectation. So, I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, I get what he's saying. To me, that would be the greatest thing in the world if you were skilled enough to play alongside a Michael Jordan or a LeBron James, a Peyton Manning. It would be the greatest thing in the world because it would automatically give you a chance to win a championship, and certainly to be better because of their presence. Those are things that I think are important.
There's a great story, if you remember, the Redeem team from the Olympics.
Yeah.
And that was the young core of LeBron, Wade, Carmelo Anthony. Now, the previous Olympics, they were on that team that did not win gold. So what USA Basketball decided to do was they turned it into a national team coached by Krzyzewski, I believe.
Right.
And it was, we are going to practice together every year, whether it's in Vegas, whatever, to get ready for the Olympics, because the international game is a different game. Not at the very last minute, but certainly not at the beginning of training camp for the Redeem team, they brought in Kobe Bryant. And Kobe was not a particularly well-liked guy in the NBA at that point. And the story goes that all the guys, Chris Bosh and Melo and LeBron, all of them were in Vegas and they went out partying one night. Are you familiar with the story?
Yes.
Went out partying one night.
Yep.
And they come back, 5 o'clock in the morning, whatever it was.
I mean, we get it, right? Okay.
Practice the next day. And as they are walking onto the elevator, something like this, Kobe's is walking off the elevator, having practiced a couple of hours while these guys are finishing up their bottle service. I am guessing that affected LeBron James dramatically on his attitude towards the game because of Kobe. Now, everyone's going to get a laugh when I say this. Carmelo was like, I'm not getting up that early. But everybody else seemed to want to get up that early. The point is this. LeBron's work ethic, and you just mentioned it, sounds like a Michael Jordan, a Kobe, a Peyton Manning. Would you want to, and you were a team sport athlete, I was too, would you want to have a teammate that rode you that hard?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah, it wouldn't bother me in the slightest. Because the goal is the same for everyone. But if you've got someone that moves the likelihood that goal can be realized forward, I'm all for it. I was the worst loser on the face of the earth. I took it as a personal affront. I was one of those guys that hated losing more than I liked winning.
Right.
Kind of guy, and on a very small level. Everything's relative. I mean, it's not a big deal, but that's just kind of how I'm wired.
Right.
If I had ever been in a position to have been talented enough to be in that position, I damn well would have loved to have someone pulling me along like that, hopefully making me better for the experience.
Okay. So I'll ask you some quick yes or quick, not yes or no's, but just give me some quick answers.
Okay.
Michael Jordan, he was certainly respected. Was he respected, from what you know, was he respected and liked or respected and feared?
Feared.
Kobe Bryant, respected and liked or respected and feared?
Feared.
Peyton Manning, respected and liked or respected and feared?
I think he was liked on some levels, but feared more on others.
So basketball is certainly a different beast than football because one star player, you only get 5 on the court. He can sustain a really good supporting cast and win a title. Look at the Nuggets a couple of years ago with Jokic and a bunch of really good players, but no all-stars. Now, when you look at the quarterback position, that quarterback, no matter how good that quarterback is, has to depend on the other guys on the team, specifically his defense. I never covered John Elway, but what I was told was he was respected and liked. Joe Montana, respected and liked.
Very much so.
Tom Brady, respected and liked. Aaron Rodgers, respected and feared.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Peyton Manning, respected and liked by a handful for sure, and feared by many like Cody Latimer. So in football only, if you are respected and feared, no matter how great you are, is that a detriment because your teammates are so afraid to make mistakes in a big moment, in a Super Bowl, in an AFC championship game, that you are so terrified to piss off a Manning or a Rodgers, that affects the way the games are played and it affects the final score. Because I've said this for years, and I'm sure people will disagree with me. If Peyton Manning's personality was universally liked, pretty much like a Montana or a Brady, he would have won more Super Bowls.
The preparation, I mean, that's what Peyton Manning, I think Peyton Manning was best known for, his maniacal preparation, his film work. Hey, if we didn't do it right running a route in practice, we're going to stay and run it until we do get it right.
Can I take it a step further, though? He would stand up in team meetings where the coaches are running the meetings. This is what I was told. And suddenly he would start running the meetings. Your teammate needs to be your peer, not your coach that barks at you all the time.
Right.
And I think that does affect winning championships.
I think it probably does. Yeah, no question. If you live in fear of failure.
Yes.
And what I mean in terms of failure is in the eyes of Peyton Manning, for instance. I mean, it might not be failure in other people's terms, but Von Miller was a great example of it. He used to always talk about the accountability to the sheriff. Always. Everything was about, you had 18 there. You had the sheriff there.
Right.
Man, it was like there was an accountability towards him. The last thing that you ever wanted to do was disappoint Peyton Manning. And I get it, for goodness sakes. I mean,
Right.
I get it. But if it does ever hamstring you, then it's counterproductive. It's the
Right.
type of thing, and you've got to be the right type of person to handle it, right?
Correct.
Most football players are used to being pushed, barked at. They're used to it. Not all. Some need to be handled differently.
Right.
So in football, you probably have a little more latitude with that. But still, if you're living in fear, it's tougher to be successful.
And you make that mistake, and someone who is type A and is wired like a Manning, even in a Super Bowl, I can't imagine how he is able to hold back his anger that you ran a 7.5-yard route and it should have been 8.
Yeah.
And you're in a huge game and the pressure is there already. I really do believe that's why he only won 2 Super Bowls. And really, it's 1.5. Even though he played a role in 2015, it really was the defense as much as anything else. So now let's bring this local. Which type of personality would you rather play for? Jokic or MacKinnon? And MacKinnon is as intense as Manning. MacKinnon is as intense as Troy Tulowitzki and Kobe and all of those guys.
Two guys that are on opposite ends of that spectrum. It's a great question because they're at the highest levels of their game.
Yep.
They are both leaders on their teams. They both have very different styles of leadership. For me, it would be MacKinnon, probably, only because I respond to that kind of challenge, that kind of pushing, that kind of everybody get your crap together, let's get it going. I do think Nikola Jokic has some of that in him, though, Eric. I think we've started to see that specifically in the last couple of years, but nothing like MacKinnon.
Nikola Jokic is not feared. He's liked and respected.
Of course he is. Yes.
MacKinnon has that fear factor. And the best story I can think of was, I can't remember the name of the defenseman, big, tall defenseman, who came out and said in an article, this was many years ago, in practice, if you threw a pass to MacKinnon and it wasn't on his tape, he would grab and he'd fire that puck at you, not to your stick, but at you personally. I mean, for me, I don't mind being pushed, but I'm not the type that needs to be pushed. So I don't know if I'd want somebody in my kitchen all the time. If it's going to help make me better, that's great. If you're going to lead by example and show me the way it's done because you've had success and maybe my success level isn't yours, I want that. But I don't want a guy barking at me all the time.
Yeah.
Especially when I know I'm trying to maximize my potential.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, my deal, I don't think would ever probably get to the level of never wanting to disappoint the person that I'm taking the instruction from. I'm just trying to be the best version in the best way possible that I know how to get to the best version of myself.
Here's another way to put it. There's a reason why some great players are not very good head coaches.
Yeah.
Because it comes so easy to them. And they don't understand how you don't understand the game the way they understand the game. It's like a math problem. You know, how come you don't understand this algebra? It comes so easy to me. How come you don't understand it? Then you start getting frustrated. Let's go back to maybe one of your favorite athletes of all time.
My favorite athlete of all time, period.
Ted Williams was hardly a pleasure to be around on a baseball field.
Right.
And he wasn't a particularly good manager either.
No, he was bad.
Correct. And because he was so intense and it came so easy to him, that's why and never translated into probably more wins on the field. I would not want Peyton Manning coaching my football team, or Michael Jordan, or Kobe Bryant, or LeBron James, or Nathan MacKinnon. I wouldn't want any of them coaching because it came so easy to them and they worked really, really hard.
Yeah.
It's like being a math tutor and you're saying, what don't you see here that I'm seeing? And then suddenly you've completely turned off the other person and then they tune you out.
Yeah. And let's underscore what you said there. The ease with which these guys play has been born through hard work to make it look easy. And the hard work that's the hardest work.
Yes.
You've got to have a skill set to start, but the work to get it to the point where it looks that easy to guys like that is immeasurable and painstaking and focused. But you're right. Ted Williams can talk, or Tony Gwynn can talk about the art of hitting all day long, but other guys, even at the major league level, aren't blessed with the types of eyes, the types of patience, the type of understanding of the strike zone and things like that. You can't coach things like that. Those are things that you got to know, that you got to know what's going on. Yes. But are my eyes good? Are my hands good? Am I standing in the right place in the box for the pitch that's coming up next? Those are all things that are very difficult to coach. A lot of them are just instinctful.
Anything you want to wrap with before we go? This has been a fast show.
It has been quick. They're always the best ones. Looking forward to tomorrow. As Eric, we're ramping up next week for Broncos football. Right. We are ramping up next week for Broncos football. The question that I have, will R.J. Harvey make day one of camp with the veterans, presumably on Tuesday?
That's going to do it for us. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl, make it the best possible day you can.